What's up everyone? Today I'll be playing some mono grass. Grass has been a type that's been quite requested for a while now, and unfortunately I haven't gotten around to doing it until now, mainly because I was looking for a good grass team to use. My thoughts on grass is it's not the best place in the meta at the moment. It does fare quite nicely against types like water, which is obviously considered one of the best types or top tier. It fares well against rock and ground, which aren't the most relevant in the meta. So that's definitely an issue, but except for that, it does struggle with a lot of powerful types like fire and dragon. You do see quite a bit. You'll see the odd bit of ice. You don't see too much flying, but it is there occasionally, and obviously grass can struggle with that. And most importantly, it struggles a lot with bug, and bug is absolutely everywhere in the meta at the moment, or at least everyone ladder at the moment from my experience. So we'll probably be seeing a few mono bugs in this playthrough. As well as that, things like Hydreigon just generally give it trouble. Dragon type in general is very overwhelming for grass type, but that's not to say grass type isn't usable. It definitely is if you have the right team, and if you like the type. Absolutely, I 100% say play the type you enjoy. You'll eventually find a way to work around your problems. So first up we have Whimsicott. Whimsicott is a disruptor, and for some reason it shouldn't be min speed. That was a hangover from back when it was a Trick Room Pokemon, so that's an accident. We have Whimsicott first up, and Whimsicott's going to be a disruptor. With Prankster, it can nicely spread status effects like Stun Spore. It can trap Pokemon into setting up the Encore, such as Quiver Dance. On Volcarona, I can trap it into Encore and then Stun Spore, or even swap into Zarude and get a revenge kill. Moonblast is quite nice for taking care of dark types who otherwise cannot be hit by my Prankster attacks, or because dark types are immune to Prankster status effects. And finally we have Defog. Defog is really good for clearing away hazards or clearing away screens in the opponent's team. It will be my only form of hazard control. Finally we have Occaberry. Occaberry is nice for being able to take some fire attacks, which is nice because other than that my team does obviously struggle a lot with fire, and it's strange to have Occaberry here, but it's nice to be able to swap into a fire attack and like Stun Spore them, for example. Or I can live in a hit from Choice Specs Hydreigon, clicking Fire Blast and Revenge Kill with Moonblast, for example. So that's why I have Occaberry. Next up we have Rillaboom. Rillaboom is going to be one of my strongest Pokemon on the team, as in it's just going to break through things hard. Now Choice Band offers more immediate power than the Terrain Extender, but the reason I'm going to Terrain Extender is after one Swords Dance I can pretty much sweep a lot of teams in the end game, especially if they're worn down by other Pokemon. I have U-turn to grab momentum, or to like U-turn off trappers. So for example, if Azumarill comes in with Perish Song Whirlpool trapping, I can just U-turn out of there and get into a better Pokemon. And finally we have high horsepower for dealing with things that are poison type, for example Toxapex. It just fares quite nicely against them, because they otherwise will wall out my Grassy Glide and U-turn. As well as that, it hits steel types and fire types again, who wall out Grassy Glide and U-turn. Stat wise, I am max attack adamant after a Swords Dance. This reaches really high levels of power, and generally just quite strong, and be able to crit Grassy Glide thanks to its Grassy Surge, which will put grass terrain on my side of the field. With Terrain Extender it will extend to 8 turns, which is nice for a bit of support, just general team support, being able to heal off all my Pokemon by 6% every turn, because I do not have any Pokemon who are not grounded. As well as that, it just increases my grass stab across the board. So next up we have Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is going to be my physically defensive Pokemon on the team, and most certainly my answer to ice types. Gyro Ball is quite strong. Again, this should be min speed because I am running Gyro Ball. The 5 speed doesn't make too much of a difference, but it could be the difference between a KO. With Leftovers, it has a bit of longevity and has max defense, allowing it to abuse body press quite nicely without having to invest much into attack whatsoever. It has Leech Seed again for a bit of longevity and recovery, as well as team support. So between Leftovers, Leech Seed and Grassy Terrain, my Ferrothorn could be healing up to like 25% a turn, which is just so much, especially considering how hard it is to break. And Iron Barbs again just threatens opponents who want to attack it physically. Finally we have Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is an issue currently in the meta because Heavy Duty Boots is probably the biggest nerf they gave to grass types in this generation. Stealth Rocks is great for the ice matchup, the bug matchup, the fire matchup, the flying matchup. That's just so many matchups right there that grass struggles with, that Stealth Rock really helped. But because these types now love running heavy duty boots, it definitely does hurt. I could be using knockoff instead of gyro ball on this set, but we'll see later on in the video if I need to change that. So knockoff will be able to help prevent heavy duty boots from kind of disrupting my team. Next up we have choice spec Celebi. Celebi is kind of like an immediate hard hitter. With Dazzling Gleam I can hit things that are big threats such as dark types or dragons or especially Hydreigon, and because it's Celebi's speed tier it actually outspeeds Specs Hydreigon by a couple of points, and of course Dazzling Gleam can one hit KO it, which is super important. If it is a choice scarf Hydreigon, unless it is plus special attack, due to Celebi's decent natural bulk it actually does not die to a neutral flamethrower or fire blast. Next up we have Psychic, which is again just good stab, but on top of that it's important for breaking through Psychic types, especially Toxapex, who can actually give my team trouble despite the part water typing. Then we have Giga Drain for a bit of stab, and it is boosted by grassy terrain and gives my Celebi a lot of longevity. And finally we have Healing Wish. Healing Wish is great team support, especially if something like my Ferrothorn is low and I need it again to wall up more ice types, for example, in the end game, or my Venusaur is low and I need it to sweep some more steel types in the end game. I can Healing Wish off Celebi into that Pokemon and have them nice and renewed. So next up we have Venusaur. Actually, sorry, one last thing about Celebi. The reason I invested 4 special defense over 4 defense is to make its defense stat slightly lower than its special defense stat, so on the off chance I find a download Porygon, it will increase its attack stat instead of its special attack stat, which is the main reason I did that. So on to Venusaur now. Venusaur is going to be a good sweeper on the team. With Sunny Day Weather Ball, which it got this generation, it can absolutely cleave through steel teams. It has no issue dealing with like Ferrothorn or Corviknight, Aegislash, big threats like that, as well as that Earth Power is great for taking care of steel types, other types that my team can struggle with. And finally we have Sludge Bomb, which is good for fairies and opposing grass types, as well as just generally being quite strong stab. So it's Sunny Day. Chlorophyll will put me up to over 500 speed, which is quite nice, and Weather Ball becomes 150 base. The 100 base due to its powering up, and the extra 50 from being in Sun, and it becomes Fire type, which is super important. On top of that we have Life Orb, which patches up Venusaur's mediocre special attack to allow it to get one-hit KOs on important threats. On top of that it's relatively bulky to the extent it can live a surprising non-stab super effective hit, which is super important. Grassy terrain is good for Venusaur to slightly offset the Life Orb chip it's taking, as well as that, as I said earlier, we can Healing Wish Celebi into Venusaur later on to get it back to full HP if I need to sweep in the end game. And finally we have Zarude. So Zarude is going to be immediate speed control in the team. With Choice Scarf it actually has quite a decent speed tier. Its move pool is not the best, but it definitely has things that are important to grass. We have Darkest Lariat, which is generally strong stab and good for taking care of things like Psychic teams, which can give my team a little bit of trouble. Close Combat, again nice for Dark teams. I keep mentioning Dark because Dark is a hard matchup with things like Bisharp on the team, with things like Hydreigon on the team, with Mandibuzz for example. Dark is quite tough, so Close Combat is nice, and I believe after Stealth Rock chip can one-hit KO Hydreigon. Next up we have Rock Slide. So Rock Slide is super important for dealing with Volcarona. It's pretty much just there for Volcarona or other bug types like that. It can outspeed a +1 Volcarona after a Quiver Dance and one-hit KO it, which is important. And finally we have Power Whip. Power Whip is just generally strong stab. It is a lot stronger than Darkest Lariat. It's 120 base, not the most reliable at 85% accuracy, but with grassy terrain up it hits much higher. I think off the top of my head it's around 170 base, don't quote me on that. It's less than that, I think 156 actually is what it hits off the top of my head, which is very strong because that is before stab. If you would like to know more about Zarude, definitely check out my Zarude first impressions video. I will have it hopefully linked down below or somewhere on the screen right now. So if you want to know more about Zarude and what it brings to the table. So first up we have some Mono Fairy. In this matchup, unfortunately I don't like Zarude too much. There's not much it can do besides maybe click Power Whip in the end game, and I absolutely hate dealing with Togekiss. Rillaboom is one of my best friends here for its ability to just click Grassy Glide kind of later in the game, taking care of a lot of common threats. But I do have to be quite concerned about Hatterene to click Mystical Fire and Togekiss being able to click Air Slash against most of my team. Though again, I do value Venusaur here as well. So I think I open up Ferrothorn and kind of try to get a Gyro Ball off turn 1 as they go Azumarill. Presumably they want to go for a Belly Drum here, which is not the best for me. I'm going to go hard Whimsicott and try Encore them as they go in hard Klefki. So here I can Stun Spore, but if they go into Hatterene it bounces back at me, but I should be immune as I am Grass type. Nice, so I get the Stun Spore off, which is quite handy. And here I think I kind of just take out Venusaur and get my Sun up. Unfortunately they can paralyze me if they are a Thunder Wave set, but here I click Weather Ball, which should 2-hit KO easily. Unfortunately they get their screens up, but I can Sludge Bomb whenever it comes in here as I get Klefki, which is quite nice for me. So nothing particularly likes taking Sludge Bomb except maybe Mimikyu, and on Mimikyu I can pretty much always go into Ferrothorn or Whimsicott if I want to try an Encore. So Hatterene is still definitely a huge issue for me, especially with a Sun up as they go Togekiss. Sludge Bomb won't kill, but it will do a ton of damage. 55 and a Poison is quite good, so I definitely value that damage a lot. As they reveal they are leftovers. So I think in this position, it's getting to the stage where Power Whip can kind of win the game. I will Rock Slide to guarantee the KO on this. As they go Azumarill. So on Azumarill, I think Ferrothorn's my best play. As they go for a Belly Drum. I'll try to get rocks down here. Unfortunately they do KO, but this puts me in the position where Rillaboom kind of comes out and should get a KO here by clicking Grassy Glide. So nothing particularly wants to swap into this. Togekiss might be able to live, unfortunately, but Celebi does outspeed and should live a single Air Slash, as it was very strong. So in this position, I think I click Giga Drain. Nice, so they go Primarina. That's quite excellent for me as I get a ton of HP back for that. Now Hatterene can definitely be an issue for me as they go Mimikyu. I still value any damage I can get off on this, even if they do Swords Dance. So they go for hard for a Shadow Claw. Zarude can come in on this easily and kind of click Power Up in this position. If they play rough there, that would be a great play. But here I can click Power Whip and kind of just get some KOs, assuming it does land. Nice. So thanks to Grassy Terrain, this is 156 base, which is extremely strong. And I can't imagine Hatterene lives this very easily, as they are quite bulky and go for a Trick Room. So assuming they want to go for a Draining Kiss here, I don't want them to get back HP, so I will sack Celebi as they go for a Calm Mind. Just in case they want to go for another Calm Mind, I will go for a Healing Wish. I think Rillaboom lives a +1 Draining Kiss, or even a +1 Mystical Fire. And in this position, I think Swords Dance into Grassy Glide is my best play. So nice. After this, it puts the position where Zarude comes out and can just click Power Whip. So hopefully this lands. I think, let me do a quick calc to see if Darkest Lariat kills. I don't want to be risking this 85%. Hatterene. And we're going to assume it's maxed physical bulk. So just 32 to 38. That should be a guaranteed KO, assuming it's not 252 defense plus defense nature. And even if it is, it pretty much guarantees a KO. So GG, and we're going to pause there till we find another. So we found a game, and unfortunately it is against Mono Fire, which basically means it's a write-off for me. I need Zaru to be able to take care of the likes of Volcarona and Charizard, but unfortunately the team in general is quite hard for me to deal with. I'll open with Celebi, though I don't think Celebi can live a Fire Blast from this. I will click Psychic. Hopefully they don't go Incineroar. But to be honest, this game is as good as over from the get-go, I feel. We just about live a Flamethrower, which is nice. And I get the Spadef lower. Unfortunately, in this position, I kind of have to sack Celebi. I get lots of Rude here. And just start clicking Rock Slide. As they go Torkoal. So my Whimsicott can live thanks to Aqua Berry. But I think I actually sack Ferrothorn here. So the reason I sack Ferrothorn is it lets me get in Venusaur, who now has its Chlorophyll activated. And Earth Power kind of just does a lot of damage. They go in Charizard, good play. But I'll just Sludge Bomb here. Unfortunately, I kind of have to keep my Venusaur healthy for the late game. Ferrothorn would have been helpful to try and get a Stealth Rock down, but I just don't see it happening against their team. So I'll go in Whimsicott, who should be able to eat, thanks to Aqua Berry, as they go hard knockoff. And because they're Dark type, I cannot actually Prankster them. I'll just get a bit of chip with Moonblast. As they go Torkoal, I'll try Stun Spore you. As unfortunately I miss, so that's probably the end for me. I'll Encore this. Force him to go for Stealth Rock again, and if he swaps I can try and get a Stun Spore off, but if he's clever he will go into Incineroar to eat that, so I'll Moonblast to get a bit of chip. As they actually stay in. Interesting play. So I'll try to get a Stun Spore off here if I can cancel that. Ah. Great play. Though I think I value any chip I can get on Incineroar here, as that's most likely Assault Vest based on that damage. Assuming it's not max speed, which it isn't because I did outspeed with Moonblast at 213, I can click High Horsepower here. So the game isn't over. Venusaur and Zarude could potentially win the end game. As they go into this. That did some nice damage. And they have to kill me here because otherwise High Horsepower into Grassy Glide kills. And Zarude outspeeding should get a KO here with Rock Slide. I feel their best play is going into Incineroar to eat this. And unfortunately I don't think I'll have enough Sun turns to sweep the rest of the team. With only 4 certain... I need chip on Incineroar quite badly with Rock Slide. If they Flare Blitz me, I could potentially win by clicking Earth Power 3 times. As they go for a knockoff. Good play. Kind of just denying me the turns I need in the sun. I'll close combat here as they go hard Chandelure. Great play. So I think the game is over, unfortunately. Had I swapped into Venusaur that turn on a potential Flare Blitz, it could have been good for me. But there's no way I live a Flare Blitz here, and unfortunately the sun runs out. So that was quite a close game. I probably could have played it better with my Venusaur in the sun. The only way they can really lose here is that they go in Cinderace and miss a Pyro Ball or miss a Zen Headbutt. Earth Power should not KO this percentage. So that was a tough one, but we will pause till I find another one. So we have a game and it's against Mono Steel. So Steel can be obviously a tough matchup for Grass. But in this game we do value Venusaur a lot to be able to get Weather Ball and Earth Power against a lot of the team, as well as Zero to be able to get close combat on things like Excadrill and Bisharp. Ferrothorn's nice as well, as it does wall out a significant chunk of the team. Unfortunately, we don't care for Celebi too much here. The Rillaboom's high horsepower is quite nice too. So I think we're just going to open up by throwing Stealth Rocks down as early as possible. Actual body press here on Excadrill, just to get as much chip as possible on this. That's great damage, and it's probably a Sash lead, so here we will get Stealth Rocks down just to kind of try and break Sturdy for later in the game. I will Leech Seed here, as it is a Totemize. Unfortunately, that does not reveal to me if that's special or physical, but there's no way they go for a Steel move here, or so I hope, as they go for Sacred Sword, which does absolutely no kind of damage. So here I can easily Encore that. I Encore Shadow Sneak, which is just okay with me too, because I get a free Stun Spore off here. So I value Whimsicott so much in this game to be able to torment Corviknight and kind of just spread paralysis. So I want to keep this healthy, but I can take one more just to try Encore it again next turn. As unfortunately for them, I get a Para Crit drop. That really sucks for them. Okay, so that's Corvi taken care of, which is a big threat. And here I can hopefully Stun Spore the Klefki as well. Unfortunately I do miss. I don't worry too much about being Thunder Waved. A very uneventful turn there, as they let me paralyze Excadrill, as they don't because I do miss. So I'll go Ferrothorn here, blocking the Rapid Spin, if that's what they want to go for. As they go for X Scissors, interesting play. I'll just Leech Seed this Klefki here. It kind of partially denies them webs, or sorry, it denies them screens somewhat. And I can go Whimsicott here and try Encore Trap them, as they defog me. I'll just Encore that. No worries. And here I can kind of just again spam my Stun Spore. So paralyzing Corviknight's massive for me. And I kind of just come back in, get my rocks down, and start clicking Leech Seed. Not to worry, as they do end up forfeiting. So that's a nice game against Mono Steel. And I'll pause till I find another. Quick disclaimer, the audio for this match did not record properly, so unfortunately I will not be voicing over this one. If you do want to stick watching it, you can enjoy some cool lo-fi hip-hop beats from Glitch X City in the background here. I'll turn it up for this match. And if you do want to skip, I will timestamp the next match down below for you. Again, sorry for the inconvenience, hope you enjoy. So unfortunately we have a game of against Mono Dragon, which can be extremely tough for grass to deal with. Basically, absolutely every single Pokemon on their team is a threat to me. Dragalge is hard to beat because of its poison typings. Duraludon, steel typing resists. Kyurem just threatens my entire team with Ice Beam or Freeze Dry. Hydreigon also is impossible, very hard to beat with the likes of Flamethrower, and finally we have Dragapult, which can run many sets. So this game is going to be absolutely awful for me. I do value Whimsicott a lot, as well as Celebi, to be able to click Dazzling Gleam against a lot of their threats. Unfortunately, Rillaboom's Grassy Glide isn't too effective in this game. We'll open up Venusaur, as they open up Duraludon. If they let me get up Sunny Day, that's quite helpful for me, which they do. And here I think I just click Earth Power, which is okay damage against their entire team unless they go Hydreigon. I expect this to possibly be a Sash lead, as they're not, and they give me Duraludon turn 1, which is quite nice. Dragapult comes in. They do outspeed me if they're Scarf, but it's a nice way of scouting to see if they're now Scarf, as they are indeed Scarf. That's okay. So Whimsicott should live a hit, and I can just Moonblast here, thanks to my Aqua Berry. Unfortunately, I don't want to KO, but I do need to Stun Spore, which I miss. So this is not going in my favour at all. In this position, I U-turn on the Dragalge coming in, and potentially my Stealth Rocks are quite important in this game. So Hydreigon comes in. If they click Flamethrower, it does want to KO me, which is most certainly Specs damage. So I do outspeed, and Dazzling Gleam does a ton of damage to their team. They can go in Dragalge and live, as they give me Dragapult. Not too bad. As Dragalge comes in, presumably wanting to go for a Sludge Wave here, I will go in Rillaboom and sack that. So unfortunately this game is as good as over. The best I can hope to do is click Dazzling Gleam against what's possibly Hydreigon coming in, as they stay in, and they win the game, unfortunately. So unfortunately, yeah, there's nothing I can do to win. GG. So that was a quick one. Mono Dragon is very, very tough for Mono Grass, one of their worst matchups. So we'll pause left another one. So we have a game against Mono Ice, and this matchup can be extremely tough for Grass. We do value Ferrothorn a lot in this game. Unfortunately, their mana tank can kind of just click Flare Blitz and basically get KOs when it wants. So we're actually going to open up a Whimsicott and try get a Stun Spore off turn 1. So paralysing Darmanitan is big for my team, especially because it's a full para. And we'll go with Ferrothorn here, expecting them to maybe want to Icicle Crush, as I full para twice, not bad. So they go for a Flare Blitz and unfortunately get the KO there. But in this position, I take out Whimsicott and click Moonblast, as I should live a Flare Blitz thanks to my Aqua Berry, and that will put it in range of Moonblast. Nice. So that's a huge threat taken care of. Not that everything else in their team isn't a huge threat. And here I would try Stun Spore them, as they are fully paralysed. So unfortunately, because of the burn and hail, I do die. But here I can override their hail with my Sun and start clicking Weather Ball against their team, denying their Aurora Veil completely, and I should get a KO here with Weather Ball. So they go in hard Kyurem, which is a good play, and unfortunately my Weather Ball does not kill here. So I think I sack Celebi, as I just about survived the Freeze Dry, and Dazzling Gleam should get a KO on this. Just about misses out. Not to worry, as Venusaur comes out and gets a KO with Sludge Bomb. If they go in Ninetales, I can always get my Sun above again, as they go in Mr. Mime. So I go Zarude here, as they went on Psychic Terrain. Interesting play. I click Darkest Lariat. Unfortunately, Avalugg is a huge threat to my team, as I get a lot of damage off on that. So I really do not like them being able to click Veil here, but I just about live a hit. As they go back into Ninetales. I have to play this carefully. I'm actually going to override their Hail with Sun, allowing me to outspeed Sandslash with Zarude, and just click Close Combat here. It unfortunately misses out on the KO on Ninetales, and they don't get the full para. So here I really have to hope for Paralysis to work in my favour, as I Sword Dance in their face. Nice, it does. I can't really risk another one, so I'll Grassy Glide here to get rid of them as Avalugg comes out. That does a lot of damage. That does a lot of damage. So I'll Sword Dance again. And you know what? I'll Sword Dance again. So at max attack, I should be able to 2-hit KO Avalugg. Though I'm not sure if I'm able to 1-hit KO Sandslash. And presumably because it's Slush Rush, it will outspeed me. But we're going to try click Grassy Glide here. Actually, at 1532 attack, I do believe it 1-hit KOs. As it is Sash, GG. Very close one, but tough matchup overall. So again, we're going to pause till I find another one. So we have a game, and it's actually against, I think, my team, which I gave to Ordes, God's Poet, earlier on. So that's kind of cool to see this, which could be difficult. He may have made some changes. So we'll see how this goes. Against this team, I think I open up Celebi, as they go Ferrothorn. So they can't threaten me too much here, but unfortunately nor can I. I'll try get my Sunny Day up right now. Oof, that did a lot of damage. But I can kind of get a kill here with Weather Ball. Unfortunately, I have to worry about their Venusaur as well, because it can do the exact same back to me. So I have to worry about that. Though I do have Octoberry and Whimsicott. Nice, so I get Ferrothorn. And I think I value Venusaur a lot in this game, so I might end up actually Healing Wishing this back to full HP later in the game. So I feel like my Celebi is probably the weakest link on the team. If I was going to change something, it would be Celebi. So they go in Venusaur here, try to go for a speed tie. I'll click Wither Ball and try my luck. As I do, of course, lose it. So I should have known better than to try that. And that is faster. 518 is faster than my Zarude. That's not good for me. I can Encore here, as I will live thanks to Octoberry. And then Weather Ball becomes neutral or normal type here. Kind of letting me take out Zarude and do some good damage with Darkest Lariat. So unfortunately I suck so much with grass that I even lose to my own team against it. I think I go Ferrothorn here and try to get my own rocks down. I could Gyro Ball, get the KO. And in fact that's exactly what I'll do. As Gyro Ball kind of just gets a KO at this position. And they don't have much on the team left to threaten Ferrothorn except for Venusaur, which is obviously a huge issue, but they have to set up a Sunny Day first before they can threaten me. So they go in Hard Rillaboom, which unfortunately does very little damage, but it does let me get my Stealth Rock up here. Or do I value Stealth Rock? No, I value more damage. Never mind. So they can kind of high horsepower me here and do tons of damage. It's not too powerful, as they do take Iron Barb Chip. So that actually kind of works in my favor. So Venusaur here cannot KO me yet until it gets a sunny day up. As Zarude comes out, probably wanting to click close combat, but I will scout with Rillaboom, as it can live basically any hit it throws my way. As they indeed go for a close combat. And I'll U-turn here. It gets good chip on anything coming in. And if they stay in, Zarude will die. So I think my only way to deal with Venusaur in this position is to hope between Life Orb and Stealth Rock Chip I can just kill it that way. I think I really value Ferrothorn being at full HP in this game. As I said, there's not much their team can do to threaten it. Though now Zarude is becoming an issue for me, as close combat is kind of scary in the end game. I don't want to stay in with Celebi. And the reason for that is if I click Psychic and they want Zarude, they get a KO. If I click Dazzling Gleam and they want Venusaur, they get a KO. So here I click Gyro Ball, and should do a decent chunk of damage to anything coming in. So I'm really thinking of changing the Celebi set. The Specs has been doing nothing for me this game. I feel like Nasty Plot might put in a bit more work. But I do love Healing Wish. So in this position, I think I just get a KO, or at least do a ton of damage to Celebi. Unfortunately, they can Healing Wish into their Venusaur, which would be very dangerous for me to deal with in the late game. But again, they have to get Sunny Day up to threaten Ferrothorn in any way, as they give me Whimsicott. They go in Zarude, presumably wanting to click close combat again, but I know it does not want to KO me. And Gyro Ball should KO at -1, but Body Press definitely does. So in this position, they definitely go in Celebi and Healing Wish into their Venusaur. Which will unfortunately let it be able to get up Sunny Day, as they don't. Interesting play, as that could actually give me the game. So Earth Power isn't enough to KO, and Gyro Ball does get the KO here. And now they're locked into a move with Celebi. I'll just click Gyro Ball here, scout for what they do. There's no way that Specs is there. They wouldn't click Specs in the face of Zarude. Spec Psychic. Maybe it is. Okay, they didn't change the team at all, so GG. Really cool to see someone use my own team on the ladder, because I just gave it to them a few minutes ago. He passed me on a really cool fire team, so I'm definitely looking forward to using that, maybe in a fire video. So shout out to you, or Scott's Poet. And we're going to pause there till we find a game. So I'm actually going to change the team up a bit. I don't like Specs and Celebi that much. I'm going to try a Nasty Plot variant. A Nasty Plot, Psychic, and maybe Earth Power. Unfortunately, this is completely walled out by the likes of Hydreigon. But I'm going to go max HP, just to give it a bit of bulk. And this thing will be a good answer to the likes of Poison types. So that's going to be this Celebi change, and I'm going to pause till I find a game. So we have a game against Mono Bug, which is naturally very tough for me. Between Heracross and Volcarona, they can do a good job essentially sweeping my entire team. So presumably they want to open up Shuckle and get their entry hazards down as early as possible. So I'll open up Ferrothorn. They open up hard Volcarona. Interesting. I don't think they'd Bug Buzz here. They Fiery Dance, which I guarantee survive. And Rock Slide should get a KO here. Sorry, not a KO. A KO is Volcarona if they stay in. But there's no way they stay in. So they go into Shuckle. I'll go Whimsicott and just kind of encore whatever Shuckle intends to do. So I'll encore you into that. And then I can just kind of start clicking Stun Spore. As they are Mental Herb. I'll encore again just so they can't Toxic me. Actually, no, I Stun Spore here. As they go Volcarona. So that's super nice, and I'm going to defog away their hazards. And I guarantee to live a Fiery Dance thanks to Occaberry, as they are fully powered. Not bad. So in this position, unfortunately, I cannot risk Zarude, and I value Whimsicott too much in the endgame, I think. I feel Celebi's my most expendable member. That did a ton of damage. So I'm actually going to Healing Wish into my Zarude. Which is nice to get back to full HP here and just start clicking Rock Slide again. On the likes of Heracross or Scizor, I can go into Ferrothorn as they take out Shuckle. So I'll go Whimsicott here again. If they Toxic, great play. They don't. Give me this. They Final Gambit. So it would definitely be nice for me to be able to Stun Spore the Heracross, or even the Scolipede, both of which are massive threats to my team, as they take out Volcarona. This is a tough one. I think how much did Fiery Dance do earlier? 87%. That's very close after Volcarona. Fiery Dance. Yeah, that's probably a KO, so I'm not going to risk that. So I think I'll defog away these Stealth Rocks here, which unfortunately means I can't paralyze Heracross in the endgame, which is unfortunate. Without sacking something, and I think I value everything too much. Actually, maybe I don't value Rillaboom. Yeah, I don't think I value Rillaboom at all. So again here, I get in Zarude and just click Rock Slide. As they go into Scizor, which lets me take out Ferrothorn, which hopefully gets my rocks down. Unless they're a superpower variant. They go for Knock, which doesn't do too much. And I will Siege whoever's coming in here. Actually, I value Rock too much to be able to chip away at the likes of Vikavolt and Scolipede. Heracross comes in. If they go for Close Gambit, I do believe I live with Venusaur. As they go for Megahorn, and I certainly do not live that. Not one bit. Yikes. So I think that's game. I can Stun Spore here and kind of hope Paralysis works in my favor as they go into Hard Volk. Which means lets me get out Zarude. Oh, as they KO me. So that's GG, I think. There's no way, unless I manage to paralyze them like 10 turns in a row, there's no way I can win. GG. So we're going to pause there to find another game. And that was a very tough one. Volcarona and kind of Heracross just destroy grass. So we have another game against Fairy, which seems to be very, very popular on the ladder at the moment. Togekiss is very tough for me to deal with, and Clefable can be quite dangerous too. I'm starting to think I want Iron Tail and Zarude to deal with things like fairies. But with Nasty Plot Celebi, which I'll open up with, I should be able to do some more damage to them. So I'll Nasty Plot turn 1. Which kind of threatens a good chunk of their team, especially because I am bulky. If they are Calm Mind, it can be quite difficult for me, but I can trap them with Encore. And the game plan here is to kind of sweep in the end game with Rillaboom as usual. Once Togekiss is taken care of, honestly, the rest kind of fall into place thanks to Rillaboom. Venusaur is also fantastic in this game. Sorry, I disconnected there, so that's why this turns kind of skipped a bit. The Earth Power on the Klefki is super nice, as I just click Psychic here. So they can easily get out Togekiss, but that lets me scout for Scarf, which is kind of important. And the fact they don't have Hatterene is good for me too. As they go and Mimikyu. So I feel Ferrothorn is always my play when they go Mimikyu. Even if they Swords Dance into Draining Punch, I can break their Disguise here with Gyro Ball. And then Zarude can kind of kill them with Darkest Lariat. Power Whip might be a slightly better play, as they go for Shadow Claw. Nice, so they give me their Disguise, and I'm actually going to get Stealth Rock down here, because absolutely every bit of chip I can get on Togekiss matters in the end game. So I should be able to get out Rillaboom off this, and kind of just click Grassy Glide. They get a chunk of damage off on me thanks to Shadow Sneak, as Togekiss comes in and reveals the fact it is Heavy Duty Boots, which means I'm going to get out Whimsicott here and try Stun Spore it. They Air Slash, and thankfully I just survive. Nice, so the Paralysis can help me in the end game. Do I value keeping Whimsicott alive? Maybe I do. Yeah, I think I do. I feel Zarude's kind of expendable here, as the Air Slash gets the KO. So Venusaur can Sludge Bomb, which does a ton of damage to anything coming in. Puts Togekiss in range of Grassy Glide, which is super nice. I'll just Sludge Bomb again. Yeah, the best they can do is go in Gardevoir, but I can get in Celebi off this pretty nicely, which eats up Psychic for breakfast. Here I click Nasty Plot, as Clefable comes in. A +2 Psychic is pretty strong, does 49%. Hopefully I just about live that Flamethrower, but it kind of puts me in the position where Grassy Glide can win the end game. Nice, I get a crit, which is super good, and that's going to be that. So I think I'll leave it there for today for Grass. My honest opinion on Grass, I think it's a bad type. I really don't think it's that good. I took so many losses, granted, in the showcase. I was doing a lot better in the testing. I managed to climb to like 15, 20-ish with Grass, which is pretty decent. Not amazing, but pretty decent. On that note, I hope you did enjoy, however, and I really look forward to the DLC coming out. I think Tapu Bulu might be able to help the type, though I have heard people say Rillaboom is probably better, and I'm inclined to agree. It has a lot of extra bulk, HP wise, it's a bit faster, and only I think has 5 less attack, so I'm curious to see what else the DLC brings in favour of Grass. But if you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, comment down below, this all helps me so much, and I really do appreciate it. I've left a link to the team down below, and I've also left a link to my Discord down below. Feel free to join and just kind of come over and chat, get to know the community, talk about Pokemon, talk about general stuff. And on that note, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.